guys, Saf coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Now you might be wondering, where has Saf been? Where are the videos going? Why has there not been as many uploads? And to be honest, I kind of want to talk about a little bit that I think is very important in games generally and generally in life. And basically, I felt a little bit burnt out with Raid Shadow Legends for the last kind of couple of weeks, if I'm being honest. I have still been doing live streams. I haven't completely been sort of gone forever, but I've just been finding that I don't have an awful lot to say about Raid at the moment. And I was making videos purely for the sake of making the videos, and I didn't really feel like they were getting across very well. You know, we were getting a lot of negative feedback on some videos, so I thought it was a good opportunity. The sun is out. I had a lot of different things going on. I had a lot of things to sort out, just in general, to take a little bit of a breather in terms of the video content. It is, you know, it's difficult sometimes. I've been playing this game for 4.5, 5 years, and to be honest, I've covered pretty much everything I possibly can on my main account here. So sometimes it gets a little bit like, okay, well, what more can I show? You know, what more can I do? But there's still plenty that I really enjoy in Raid Shadow Legends, and you know, we're about to get a new major content piece, which is Clan Wars, which is kind of giving me a little bit of a, okay, let's get back into it. Let's get back into kind of really thinking about what we can do with my account, what we can do with different things. So in this video, I just kind of like want to do a bit of a, you know, what I've been working on, what I've been doing. We've got a few summons to do, right? There's the Awakening boost. We might as well summon a few things. I'm honestly tempted to also pull all my Void Shards to try and get a Yumiko. So we might do this as well. And kind of give you a little bit of a forecast of what I'm going to be doing now for the next coming videos. So like I said, I've been a little bit burnt out. One of the things that kind of put me off was how easy these dungeons now have become. So the really pinnacle content that I've been working sort of to try and min-max the teams, they've just become a little bit too stale. In essence, they've become so easy since I got Marius. It was such a grind to get Marius to Gallant as well. That was kind of another big kind of moment. You got Marius to Gallant. I was like, oh, now I can rest easy. But, you know, now is the next big thing to like prepare for. I'm kind of looking forward to picking up Carnage next rotation. We were fortunate enough to be able to finish all of the Cursed City rotation for the first time ever on this count. It's the first time I've ever done 101 stages. I'll be honest though, this stage was probably the worst experience I've ever had in Raid history. The worst experience. It was so horrible to fight. And I fear for all humanity, absolute all humanity, when they buff Jingwong, because he's going to become an absolute horror in the stage 19s. And I think he's also in stage 12. Like, this wave is going to be horrific to fight, considering he's going to basically become fully AoE, right? All of this is going to be like a full buff removal, AoE block buffs, AoE block active skills. There's a stun on the A1. The passive's not changing. It's going to be horrible. So I pushed really hard this month to get sort of all of them done, because now in the next rotation, I only need 55. So I absolutely don't need to clear all stages. So next month, next rotation, in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, we'll be able to actually get Carnage. And I've got some pretty interesting ideas I want to use him for, particularly with like lots of multi-debuffers, a bit like Romantu, a bit like Riho. I think he could be really good. And the next big thing I'm kind of working on, I guess, is preparing for Hydra Clash adjustments. There is likely going to be, I think, a significant change in the way that Hydra Clash works. I think Hydra Clash is going to become less of what we were experiencing last rotation, where there was like 300 billion points being spread out. I think that those big teams are going to get severely impacted by the changes. I hope that they're going to make this more compelling. Certainly one of the big things they seem to be doing is giving rewards for everyone, which I think is going to be really good. We also have this new fusion coming up, which honestly, I think this is going to be a little bit like Incarnate for everyone, in the sense that he's not terrible. He's not the worst champion in Raid Shadow Legends, but in terms of, do you really need him? He kind of only becomes a reality if you absolutely need some block buffs for Hydra, in my opinion. I think that's where he's really going to be valuable for a player, is if you need someone that can provide a consistent block buffs on an AoE. If you don't have an Ugo, you don't have a Supreme Galek, you don't have someone like a Tuhanarak or these big champions, then this could be a very interesting option. Now, a few notes. All of these beasts are pretty much, I would say, not worth considering. They did mention that they will be adding a new creature, a new dog to go with him. I would have preferred to actually know what this is so that I can make a decision on this. I feel like this is almost like a FOMO trick, similar to what they did with Adeline, but that was free, where they were kind of like, hey, don't worry, look, Adeline might look underwhelming, but once we rebalance the bosses, then you'll need her, which to be fair is true. I do use her now in Sand Devil. It makes my team 10 seconds very, very quick because you don't have a Siphi, right? If you don't have a Siphi, that's a really good option. And I feel like this is a very similar situation. If you don't have someone that can do block buffs, pretty good. He can kind of do like a permataunt and go into Shogun and kind of perform that role that I know Emic was doing, and Ambassador Lethelin. That's not a bad role as well. And his passive is very interesting. I really want to know if his component of his passive, where the damage bonus from an ally attack is only from his ally attacks, or if it's all. I think it reads like all, but it could be just his, which makes it very difficult. One of the biggest problems with his passive, however, is the hex will only apply when you get attacked. So you always have to bring another hex, because when the decapitation happens, how do you really place that hex? And hex is really a Hydra mechanic, right? There's not many places you can really get value in hex. It's pretty much in Hydra where you're really seeing that value of that debuff. So as I said, if you want a Hydra block buff champions, I think he's really good. If you don't have another option, that A3 is great. It's a turn meter fill. It's also a block buffs. I just don't see much else in terms of... I feel like they've tried to create this whole like Packmaster fantasy, but the dogs and the creatures are so kind of outdated and really useless. I mean, half of them are rares. You're not really going to find a use for them in the team, to be honest. So I think as well as he's a fragment, he's probably reasonably cheap to go and get, right? He's not a complicated or expensive fusion. He'll be pretty easy to get. And finally, we've got this new clan wars system coming. We're on the eve or kind of like the week before a major content drop. That's going to be really exciting. I know I haven't given my thoughts about clan wars. I'll probably do it in a dedicated video once we get more information. I've kind of been waiting to get more information on how it's going to work, because the images we've got right now are very subjective. I've seen this system work in various different ways in different games, some successful, some not. But I will say there's not going to be anything negative about this system. There can't really be anything. You can't really make it so bad that you don't want to do it. It's always going to be something you do. It'll just be whether or not there's any sort of pay to win mechanics. It'll always be something that clans will benefit from. It just depends on how exciting they make it. This champion we're going to get from this content piece is a bit of a weird one. And I'll say why it's a bit of a weird one. It sounds really, really powerful, but in reality, it's not that powerful unless you have certain teams. Then it becomes really powerful. And it's kind of like, you know, all the different teams at the moment. When we've been talking about ratings for different champions, it's kind of like, well, Marius and Newt together, those two together kind of dominate the game. But separately, they're not as dominant. Maybe Newt is, but Marius is much different, right? The concept being, once you can put the two of them together, then you create different combinations. That's when Riho's value goes up considerably now, because you can put the two together. You don't have to rotate as much. And I think this is going to be a similar fashion. So we do have a decreased attack A1 on a 70% chance. That's really, really good. Also great for any sort of artifact sets like Hex if you want to use it for that. We have a block buffs and a true fear, but if it's a boss, it's a decreased speed. So realistically, this is an incredibly good Hydra champion. You get decreased attack, block buffs, decreased speed, double AoE, in the sense that both of these abilities are AoE, but the Dread Dominion is not an attack, so you can bypass Poison Cloud. Very useful, very, very useful. Also, you don't have to worry about redirections from the Mischief Head, so you'll always get block buffs and decreased speed on the Mischief Head. Right now, this setup is really good for Hydra, but other places, decreased attack's pretty good, I suppose, in a stun set. Will be very good if it complies with any sort of Cintrano stage. Pretty good for early game players as well, although it depends on how accessible it is. I will say this won't be like a pay to win model. It won't be difficult to get. If we think how Mithrala, Drexar, all the Doom Tower champions and all these different things, they're not super difficult to get. They just take time. Most of them take about 20 days, 20 weeks, I should say. Even Carnage, for example, even if you don't do all of Soul Cross, you probably will get Carnage within a year. So yes, this takes a longer time if you can't do the harder content, but generally speaking, I don't think there's much difference between, you know, someone who can do a lot of content and someone who can't. So I'd expect a lot of players can get their hands on this champion. Now, where it changes a little bit from being a Hydra champion is this Icon of Domination. Removes all debuffs from a single ally and places 2 intercepts. So this is the Wixwell buffs. It's the only other champion that does this. And fills the target ally's turn meter by 50% and resets the cooldown of their abilities. That's on a 4-turn cooldown. Now, this kind of fills a role that I've been struggling to find in Arena right now. I've got a setup where I can counter Armanz's A2, but I can't really counter his Polymorph. This kind of counters the Polymorph if you can make sure you go before him. If you build a really super fast, this is a really good ability. You also make sure that your ally takes a turn. You can kind of like almost like run a speed team without running a speed team by forcing your damage dealer to go super, super fast by adding this 50% fill. And even if you get locked out for any sort of activity, you can completely reset them as well, which is, you know, lockouts are losing their value quite a lot at the moment because you've got people like Padraig and Korra that can reset it on an A1. You have low skill cooldowns coming out from all these different champions. You've got mythical champions where you can't lock out their alternate form. So champions like Warlord and Yumiko are starting to lose their presence in Arena just purely because the mythicals are stronger. Some of these other champions like Sun Wukong are stronger. They'll get back to their abilities because of the supports that are also stronger. And finally, Authority Manifest. This is why I think she's also quite good for Arena. If she can't be polymorphed, and you have a pretty good high resist champion in, say, like your Reviver, and you can also put an intercept on one of your allies, then you've really kind of stopped the polymorphing happening from the Armand's A3. I think this is a very strong Armand's counter in the right setup. On her own, she's not a very strong Armand's counter because she doesn't stop him stealing and stunning her. She's not immune to stun. She's not immune to turn meter control. So absolutely, he could just A2 you and then just never, you never take a turn. But if you can stop the A2 with different components and then stop his A3 with this component, you are starting to see that there are counters to Armand's. We also have a second passive. Each debuff placed by this champion decreases the target turn meter by 5%. She's going to place 3 on a rotation, on basically a 3-turn cooldown rotation. So it's a pretty good 15% every 3 turns. It's not crazy, but it's useful. And then you also reduce an enemy's resistance and accuracy. This is really only going to benefit you on long fights. It's going to take you about 4 rotations. If you can build in like an artifact set like Hex, that will help. And make sure you note that this will count per target. So you won't get like 100 applied everywhere because you've applied an AoE debuff. It'll calculate this on each target. So it will take you about 3 to 4 rotations to stack this up. And if you're depending on this to actually land your debuffs, that might be a problem. 24% aura in all battles is also one of the highest and rarest all-speed battles, right? Only a few champions have 24% in all battles, like Fuxia and Lissandra. So overall, I think this champion is pretty good. I don't think it's like broken strong, but I think in the right teams, it could be absolutely MVP 5 out of 5. So it depends on how we're going to get it. We don't really know enough about Clan Wars yet to know what's going on. So I'll probably be going for the fusion just because I tend to go for any fusion that has a unique effect. I did Incarnate. I've done all of the ones that most people wouldn't have done. But, you know, as I said when I started this video, burnout is a big thing in video games. If you're burnt out from doing fusions, don't buy into this logic that, oh, well, one day a dog will be added and then this champion might be very good. Well, one day is, you know, potentially never going to come around. You're never potentially going to have that one day. Sometimes I've seen things come in that it's absolutely going to be really good and it just never quite materializes. So it may even take months. So I wouldn't necessarily sit here and go do the fusion because you might miss out. It's not worth it. If you can't see a use, if you don't need a block buffs in Hydra, I don't think this Packmaster is that useful. Even if it does interactions with the dogs. You're not even likely to find usage for those dogs in Cintranos when there's restrictions, because it's very rare that you would ever go to the rare and epic pool unless you can't go to the legendary pool. And likewise, if you can get legendary, epic and rare, there's probably legendaries and epics that are going to be stronger than bringing one of those dogs. So that's what I would suggest is if you want a block buffs champions for Hydra, get it. If not, it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. Let's end this video then on a little bit of summoning, a little bit of fun. I will be doing some videos now on gear cleansing. We've got some pretty good, I got a pretty like in-depth gear cleansing video. I think that this has been a topic that a lot of people have been looking for with so many variable sets, so many different types of sets, different types of builds you can do. It's about time I did a comprehensive 2024 gearing video. So we'll be doing that hopefully in Thursday, maybe tomorrow. By the time this video goes out, it'll probably come out the same day as I'm recording this. Hopefully by tomorrow, Slayer set will be fixed and we can finally do a comprehensive video on how Slayer works. I've got most of the components. I just need to know what they have done to break it for the enemy max HP. Once they fix that, hopefully we can get a Slayer video and I can actually put the numbers in. And I'm also going to be doing a video on Nature's Wrath. I know I've seen some people say it's working really well on Ninja, but I want to really do the numbers to figure out how much better is Nature's Wrath. Is it better than Heavencast? Is it still Phantom Touch? Which content pieces do you pick which debuffs for? So you have all the information. So lots of cool videos. I want to get back into the swing of things. I want to get back into really enjoying making new content rather than just kind of going through the doldrums of the daily event system. So let's summon some souls here. I've got enough space. I'm still really after like Narcissus and Marius souls. Marius more than anything. That's the one soul that I really, really want is Marius. I absolutely want a Marius soul. I've got a 1-star at the moment that I got from the market. A 4-star for that crit damage bonus would be wonderful. So let's see what we get. Let's see what we get here. I haven't got many stones. This is my Hydra stones. It's pretty much the best time to summon, by the way. I wouldn't really be holding on to any of your tier 1 and tier 2 stones at this point. It's a pretty depressing tier 1. Like, where's the awakening boost? Where's the awakening boost? We're meant to get 6 stars. Oh wait, is it only on the? You don't know. It's on the awakening boost here, right? Yeah, mortal. Yeah, 1.5%. I should be getting more of those. Never mind. Never mind. Maybe we'll get lucky here. It's probably going to be the middle ones that are going to be more beneficial, to be honest. The one that I've got from Sand Devil today. Any useful things here? A 2-star Wanderer. I mean, this is what we come to expect from a 1-star. Yes, pretty painful, those 1-star souls. Let's buy 1 up in here. Let's buy 2 up, actually. Let's go a bit fun. 3 Immortal Soul Stones. What are we going to get? Anything good? Anything good? Make it gold. Make it rain. No. That's blue. That's a 5-star Honor Guard. Well, I mean, he's very honored. Marius is what we really want, not Race. Oh, 5-star Fencer. Anything interesting? It's pretty good time as well because of CVC. Legendary Marius. Oh. I mean, I don't actually have Knocked the Paralyzer. It's a 6-star soul, so CVC points, great. But I don't think I have Knocked the Paralyzer. I don't have him. I will keep the soul because a 6-star soul for legendary is too good. You wouldn't re-roll it. I feel lucky. One more. I shouldn't really do this because I should save it for essence, but I feel lucky. The luck was misplaced. The luck was misplaced. 4-star Life Taker. So yes, even though I don't have Knocked, I might get him in the future, and having a 6-star Knocked might be really, really good in the right content area. So we'll keep the soul. But yeah, you know, good CVC points. And I'm going to summon these. I do want to see if I can get something. Maybe we'll get Yumiko. I don't actually have a Kaima or a Warlord or a Yumiko or a Kirksea. I don't have a Locker at all. No double odds. I've got plenty of other shards for the fusion, so I'm not too worried about that. It's going to be a 10 rare. It's going to be a 10 rare. You know how I was saying I was burnt out with the game? This is kind of like the feeling you get when you get burnt out with the game. It's like, give me something to make me feel like it's worth playing. No, Draconis. We have Cold Heart. Last one. Anything epic? Oh, wow. Okay, well. That was that. That was those summons. Yes, pretty painful. Yes. Never mind. That's that. So, guys, as I said, appreciate everyone who's been, you know, hanging out in the live streams. And if you've been wondering where I've just been taking a little bit of a breather, sitting back a little bit. So much so, actually, guys, I've actually managed to hit like the free-to-play. It may have upgraded me all of a sudden. I was actually getting like proper free-to-play packs again. I haven't seen this in like feels like years. I haven't seen this. Not that I'm a crazy spender, but yeah, it was kind of funny to see that log in. I don't know if it's just because I hadn't logged in for 2 days when I was away, but we'll have to see. But anyway, guys, appreciate everyone for watching, and as always, thank you for continuing to come to the live streams and watch the videos. We will be getting back to it. We'll be getting some cool content coming out. I'll catch you guys in the next video.